Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be a reorganization of my A5 DVD collection into an A4 collection. Now I know you're probably like, why are you doing this? And I will tell you, but instead of doing a 4-minute long introduction where you're just looking at my hands gesticulating very strangely, I'm just going to start the process because it is going to take a while. So I promise I will answer the question of why right now, and then I will probably go back and address what I did. So, if you want to know a little bit more about me, I have a lot of anxiety around keeping my collection safe. It's one of the main reasons why I have started using these slipcase binders, because all sides of the binder are completely covered that way, which I just really appreciate because I live in an apartment building, and while it's fine enough, it's also not out of the realm of likelihood that the sprinklers really could go off and drench everything that I own. I've spoken to people who come back from breaks and maintenance has been in their apartment, ripped up their entire carpet and replaced it without even telling them. So it's not out of the realm of possibility that some unfortunate kind of environmental damage could happen to my collection. So because of that, I have done everything that I can to keep my collection as safe as it can be, but it still doesn't completely stop the fear in the back of my head of what can possibly happen while I'm gone at class or out running errands. I'm like, what about the sprinklers? So that is I just need to explain that because that is where I'm coming from with why I am suddenly moving this collection into an A4. If you're unaware of the timeline of my DVD collection, I really decided and started to collect DVD cards at the beginning of last year and started conceiving of a DVD layout in an A5 setup. So I quickly realized that an A4 setup was not going to work for me with 3 members and having DVDs and Blu-rays or multiple cards per release that I wanted to keep together. I mean, I think here's a pretty clear example. I have 12 cards for third fan meeting and muster across my bias line members, and we've got 9 pocket pages. It obviously works out a lot better in an A5, so that is just the course that I took. And originally my collection was across 2 regular size Prism Platinum binders, which I did like, but in general I didn't want to split the collection if I could help it, which led me to find a binder from a craft store that actually fit my entire DVD collection in chronological order, which is what I had always wanted. So I moved my collection into that, and that is the binder that you see in my end of the year flip through for 2022 is that binder. The one thing that I don't love about that binder is I find it hard to stand upright. It doesn't have the same structural integrity, I guess, for lack of a better word, like the Prism Platinum ones do. Obviously those are designed to stand upright, which I do prefer, especially with the A5s. It makes it feel like the pages aren't curling over, and the cards just in general are a lot safer when they can stand upright. But at the time I was willing to put up with the negatives of that bigger binder because it did actually fit my full collection. But then Prism Platinum announced that they were doing a deluxe size A5, which was amazing news for me. I obviously immediately joined the pre-order, and I am really looking forward to receiving those binders. But unfortunately, my order was one of the ones that got caught up in the page delay, which normally would not be an issue for me. I think collecting in general has made us all so very patient. However, in my specific situation this summer, I won't actually be around to receive my binders anymore because I will be out of town by the time that the order is filled and it ships from Australia to the United States. I will be living in a city working. I have lived in the city before, but I don't currently live there, and I'm not from there, so I will be living in an Airbnb for the summer, which is about 3 months. I think I will be back to school like the last weekend of August, so September is when I will be able to receive that binder. And so normally, if I was just gonna be in my apartment and living my life, it wouldn't matter, but because I am moving to this city, I needed to think of a new temporary idea of what to do with my DVD collection while I was gone, because like I said, I have a lot of anxiety around keeping my collection safe, and I wanted to keep my DVD collection in the upright deluxe size Prism Platinum binder. Because another thing that I do, because I don't have formal shelves in this apartment, I keep most of my Prism Platinum binders currently in the boxes that they come in standing upright, because then it completely covers the top of the collection. because a shelf isn't there to cover it, if that makes sense. So it's not exposed to the air when it's in my apartment. Anyway, so this long story short is just because there was a delay with my order, and I will unfortunately not be in town to receive that package or be at a place where I can receive packages in general, because I'll be at an Airbnb. I'm going to have to wait on that solution to my collection until September, and I need something to do with this collection until then, because I didn't want to transport the binder that I currently have it in to the city with me. I want it to be in a more secure setup, hence why we are doing an A4 layout. So I thought this video would be fun to do, just because, like I said, my entire DVD collection was conceived in the A5 setup. Obviously, a page like this is difficult because I have 4 cards for a 4-pocket page in an A5, but not necessarily a 9-pocket page. I'll talk through more what I was thinking in a second, but for now, I just wanted to say that is why I am temporarily moving this collection into an A4, because this is one of the binders with a slipcase, so I will have some wonderful peace of mind keeping this whole collection with the slipcase on top of it, because my DVD collection is one of the parts of my collection that are coming with me. My entire collection is not coming with me, but the parts that are going to be the ones that I just want around. I don't want to put into storage or anything, because I want to be able to see them and also just know where they are at all times. But I obviously, the collection that I'll be traveling with, quote unquote, I want to keep it as safe as humanly possible. So there's going to be an over-reliance on these slipcase binders, at least for the next few months. I don't know if anyone else thinks about the safety of their collection to the extent that I do, but it does make me feel better, because it's like I spend all this time working on it and cultivating it. I also need to protect it, particularly just from unforeseen environmental factors. Obviously, there's nothing that's going to stop any space I'm living in from burning completely to the ground. Like, there's really nothing you can do about it, but there are other environmental factors that I can be in charge of, such as minimizing sun damage or moisture damage or anything like that. And so that is why I am temporarily moving this DVD collection into an A4 for this summer. But I guess I can talk through kind of what I was thinking then. So my A5 is in chronological order, and I tried to keep it in chronological order when I was conceiving of this setup, but it just did not work with the 9-pocket pages. It really didn't. So I am back to categorizing, and so I'm gonna do concert and tours in the first part, and then memories, and then the package stuff. And I typically like the 8 layout, but for these, obviously there were 12, so I did this. This is an official card. As you can see, there are a lot of fillers in here. Please ignore that they are not of the best quality. These are my first absolute trial runs. It took me the short part of an afternoon to slap these together on Canva really quick, print them out, and then cut and paste them together, because I just wanted to see if this was a style that I liked. If you're unfamiliar with my channel, then you know most of my fillers are colored paper, and then sometimes I'll label them via vinyl letter, but I usually don't have identifying fillers that are physically like the third fan meeting. I just don't typically go that route. So I wanted to try it this time, and I honestly really like them. So I probably am going to order more high quality fillers for this temporary section, just because I think it'll be fun, and I also don't think it's going to be a very big expense. So these were just me trying out what I wanted to do. So please forgive that they are a little janky looking. Obviously the quality is not the best, and you can kind of see where I pasted it together, but it was just a trial run, like I said. So these I think look really nice with the 6 and 6. This one I think is one I'm least happy with, just because I don't really know what to do with this page. I'm not trying to buy more DVD cards because I do really like the A5 setup that I have completed. So I thought this pattern would be nice with the filler in the middle, but I want to do something with these fillers just for fun once I finalize exactly what I'm going to get. But yeah, having the 4 cards on the 9-pocket page is definitely the least satisfying, I will admit, but I do really like doing this setup. It's hard to get a member not next to each other. So obviously we have double Yoongi, but there's always going to be a member that's going to be next to each other. So the way that I conceive of this are the corners are their own version of thing, and then the cross motion are their own thing as well. And I really like how this is set up. I think it's my best solution. I played around with it a lot and I asked some people and most people landed on this. And like I said, I'm sorry if you hate it, but it is temporary. It's very likely, like 99.9% likelihood that this DVD collection will be moved back into the A5 anyway. I'm just having some fun because I don't really have another option. So yeah, that's basically all I had to say about that. I hope it made sense. I'm really sorry if it didn't, because a lot of the reasons why are more personal to me and my preoccupation with collection safety, but that's essentially why I will be putting the rest of my collection in another safe location that if it burns down, it's gonna burn down. There's nothing I can do about it, but I just don't have enough room to bring it all with me. There is a transportation problem when you have a collection more my size. It just becomes unfeasible. Not that I couldn't just stick it in my car, but it's more like, where am I going to store it in this small place that I'm going to be living? Which I think then starts defeating the purpose of me caring about collection safety. You know what I mean? So here is Love Yourself, Soul in the corners, and New York Blu-ray in the center. Because of course, you know, I do have some OT7 sets in my DVD collection, which is so exciting because I'm gonna finally be able to see them in a 9-pocket page. So yeah, I'd love to hear what you think about my temporary setup. If you have any pointers on how to make it look better, because this is how my DVD collection is gonna look for the next few months. And if you like to custom order fillers, if you have any services that you're really a big fan of, I'd love to hear too. I think I have a few ideas of where I'm going to print these fillers from, but I'd love to hear some suggestions if you've had a really great experience with the quality from one service over another. Please do let me know by leaving a comment or DMing me on Instagram. I would greatly appreciate it because, like I said, I'm obviously mostly engaged in the practice of making my own fillers with my own paper and stuff, but I thought it would be fun this time around, since it's a completely different collection setup than what I intended, to do something different that I don't normally do. And I honestly think it looks nice. I don't think this setup is the worst thing in the world ever, though I do think that the collection that I currently have definitely does look better in the A5 setup because that's what it's meant for. But I think I was able to mostly finesse the collection into looking as nice as possible, considering it wasn't conceived for this layout at all. But there is the Love Yourself New York DVD section. I really like it. I like having the backs similar, and I did a little group card. Sometimes I just wanted to see if it was fun or not. I don't necessarily think I'll do that in the final copies for everything, but for now, just thought it was fun because I really, like I said, slapped these together on a random afternoon. I will say one thing I have enjoyed about this change is that I'm able to see the backs again, which is nice. If you know my DVD collection, then you know I do utilize white fillers a lot, and that's mostly because I really don't like when a card back peeks out on the front side of a card. It really bothers me how it looks, which is why I use the fillers. But in doing that, I don't get to see the backs of these DVD cards as often as I would like to. And some of these are so beautiful. Anyway, there is Europe DVD and Blu-ray. Moving on next, we have Magic Shop. This definitely remains one of my favorite pages in the entire collection, just like it does in the A5, because I think the colors just complement each other so well. So it's fun seeing them all like this in this layout. Okay, and there's Fifth Muster and Magic Shop. Moving on into Speak Yourself Vinyl now. So now that my personal explanations are over with, we need to talk about how flipping exciting the past few days has been. Face has been released since I last talked to you. Jimin's gone #1 on the Hot 100 as of yesterday. Yoongi's album has been announced. The pre-orders are out. I believe the day that this video is coming out is the day that People Part 2 featuring IU comes out. It's seriously so unbelievable how exciting it is right now. All of the content is definitely slightly overwhelming, but I am not complaining. I'm very excited. I cannot wait to hear what D-Day sounds like, and I am ready. I am prepared. I am seeing his 3rd show, so I very quickly need to learn the words to his album, but it shouldn't be a big deal. I think it'll be a lot of fun to hear all those songs for the first time, and then whatever else he decides to perform. I'm so excited. I cannot wait. I cannot wait for this album. If you've never heard me talk about this before, but D2 I really think is a life-changing album to me personally. It spoke to me on a really deep level, and it is one that I hold in my heart as a quote-unquote perfect album, which I don't give that designation to a lot of music. So I'm so excited to listen to D-Day and listen to the final trilogy of agust-d. Finally! It's just funny that I know that when this will be uploaded, we will have already heard People Part 2. It's just crazy how fast things are happening. But okay, there's Speak Yourself Final, and now Map of the Soul 1. And I guess I haven't talked about Face yet since I last uploaded. I love it. I love every second of it. I can't even tell you what my favorite track on the album is. I am so proud of Jimin for pouring his heart and soul into this album that's so well made and reflective of his own heart and so loud about his own expressions and feelings and identity, and I just love it. I love it so much. It's been so fun to watch these music show performances, and obviously yesterday the Hot 100 #1 was just unbelievable. I know people had been speculating about it a few days before that it seemed pretty likely, and I just, even knowing that, I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it, and I'm just so proud of him, and seeing him on live literally made me cry. Because I'm just so happy for him, and Face is so good. I cannot wait to start receiving my stuff for it. I actually think today I have a big box coming from my Japan Go that McKinley ran, so I'm just so excited to open up all that stuff and start conceiving of how I'm going to do the photocard layouts. If I'm being honest, I haven't thought about it at all. There's just an overwhelming amount of cards coming that I feel like I'm not really going to be able to plan for it until I have them all physically with me. As a side note, I will say this is definitely probably the most controversial page of this entire setup, and it's because of the backs. Horrendous, I know, but because I collected OT7 for the DVD, and then I also collected OT7 for the DVD for Suwuzu, I'm stuck with the Mops 1 Blu-rays and then the Suwuzu Blu-rays with just my bias line on the same page, because like I said, I'm really not trying to add any more cards to this collection. This collection is perfect for the A5 layout, and I'm not interested right now in trying to make it all perfectly fit into an A4, because I do think I want to move everything back in the A5 anyway. So I don't think he goes, what was my intention with this? I think for this one, instead of doing the corners with the thing, I wanted to keep them all in concept together. So I must have intended he go here actually. No, I was right. I shouldn't question myself. This is where they would go if it goes like this. But yeah, I agree. You can unclutch your pearls. This is definitely the most controversial page of the setup. I really wish that these had been the black side cards, because it definitely would have been less bad, but beggars can't be choosers, I guess. So this is this page, and just don't think too much about how this page looks. Horrendous, I know. Okay, and on to the DVD now. As for what I'm collecting for Face, I did say I'm trying to collect basically everything, and that is true to a certain extent. I don't believe I'm going to be able to get my hands on, say, the drawing competition PC, as there's only 50 of those in the world, but I am going to put my best foot forward in trying to get everything else. I did recently finally understand, at least I think. You can please kindly correct me in the comments below if I am wrong about what I'm about to say, but I was very confused initially with the way that the broadcast cards were distributed. Obviously, there is a much more coveted one. I'll put it up on the screen which one it is, and I couldn't understand why that one was being called rarer than the other two. I obviously knew it would be affected by the cute tax, for one, and two, because the broadcast cards obviously look very similar to other cards we will be getting from the Japan lottery, and also from the lucky draws themselves, that people were going to want the cuter one, quote unquote, more anyway, just because it was a different concept. But I didn't understand why it was being called more rare. I think I finally figured out that that card is a lucky draw in the broadcast envelopes, so it was not a 1 in 3 chance of getting those cards. Instead, it was a 1 in 2 chance of the standard broadcast cards, and then there were envelopes that had the additional lucky draw card. So some people got an extra 1 broadcast card in addition to the one that they were already going to get by going to the recording show. Is that right? Is that what they mean when they say it was a more rare lucky draw? Is that some of the envelopes had 2 cards in it, which included that cute lucky draw card, and some of the cards only had the standard broadcast card, which were the 1 or 2 options? I think that's the case, especially because they ran that broadcast competition, which I so unfortunately slept through. I was so sad when I woke up to that. But because those are the 2 cards that are part of the competition, I think those are the standard broadcast cards, and then the other one was the special lucky draw, which does in fact make it more rare. Is that right? I think it's right, or at least close enough. Like I said, if you know, please do let me know down below if I was wrong, because I was just trying to understand the actual classification of what those cards were beyond people just saying, well, they're more rare than the broadcast cards. But why are they more rare? So yeah, I think I finally figured out why, but if I'm wrong, please do feel free to correct me. Which leads me to, what will I be trying to collect for Face? I'm definitely going to try to get all 3 of those cards, but I will definitely prioritize the lucky draw one, just because, like I said, the other 2 broadcast cards are very similar in concept to the Japan Fan Club lottery draws that are incoming, and then also the lucky draws that we've already gotten. He's wearing the same outfit across all 3 of those, so those are definitely lower on my priority list than the lucky draw one. As for the drawing PC, I definitely am largely just going to, actually that one doesn't exist. I really don't think that one is going to be possible, which is fine. I think in a perfect scenario, I hope that the people who won that drawing want to keep it as a memento for the album, and winning and being a part of it in a more substantial way, I think is really cool. And I do hope that people keep them. But I also know how collecting works. I know that there will definitely be some on the market once they're all sent out and everything. And I just largely do not think that that's going to be possible for me to get my hands on. Never say never, but it's definitely not a priority of mine to complete. I really want to focus on making sure I'm up to date on all the more achievable items from the comeback, and then have a special focus on the lucky draw. I also realized I did not mention we obviously finished concert tour section and we are now in the memories section. I do think I'll probably put a memories postcard in between just to signify that we are changing sections, but for now I just don't have that ready, as I'm trying to get through this video as fast as possible, because I know it's definitely going to take a long time, and I'm out of pages, but that's okay. And we're back with more pages and on to 2018 memories now. I don't really even remember what I was saying. I think I was talking about my collection goals and plans for Face are, what the heck am I doing? My collection goals for Face. I think I basically talked about all of them. Everything as I possibly can within reason, and definitely a de-emphasis on the drawing winning competition PC. For his merch, did you guys buy any of his merch? I did buy the knit, and I also bought the key ring. So not a huge drop of stuff, which I appreciated, because we definitely are gearing up now for D-Day. I'm so curious to see what his merch will be like, particularly because you can probably buy some of it at the concerts. So I wonder if there'll be any site
Oh, and that is right when my microphone cut off. And so I am coming to you now in voiceover to wrap up the rest of this video. I'll speed up this footage a little bit because I don't think it's necessary. I feel like I've chatted a lot in this video about everything that is happening. I left off on wondering if there was going to be Yoongi merch on site. I assume there will be. I don't see why there wouldn't be, but I am curious to see what is venue specific and what is also available on Weverse for purchase. I think that'll be interesting to see, because either way there's going to be tour merch. So that is my thoughts right now. This voiceover is like hours before People Part 2 comes out. I really just cannot wait. I can't believe how many Friday or Thursday nights, I guess, in a row that we've had lately of new BTS member music dropping. It's really so exciting. And then obviously we'll have the full album coming up soon. And then the last thing I just wanted to say for this section was this is going to be the Season's Greeting and Package section. So on the first page, we have Season's Greeting 2017 at the bottom. And then we have the 2014 MD Diary, which is also generally considered to be a Season's Greeting, even though it it does not have a DVD disc, so it is a little out of place, but it is a season's greetings, so I thought they would all look nice on this page, and I made those little temporary fillers that I hope I'll be able to print out in high quality soon. And then so after season's greeting, we move into the now page. So this is a mix of now 1 and now 3, and I really like how it all turned out. I feel like it's a good amount of cards, and like I said, I'm really not trying to grow this DVD collection anymore unless I were to be able to come across a really good now 1 price. But other than that, I'm content with these now cards, and even in the 9 pocket page spread, I think it looks pretty nice. And then finally, I have the packages page, which is a summer package 2014 and winter package from 2021. But I just thought they're both the summer and winter packages. They make the most sense together because chronology didn't really work. So we're categorizing, and these are the seasonal packages. So that is that. We'll do a quick, even more sped up flip through so you can see everything all together, and just know that I will be replacing these fillers and just in general adding nicer divider markings in between the categories. But all in all, this is what I came up with. And that is the end of today's video. I do hope that you enjoyed it. It was fun to embark on a new organizational challenge, particularly with cards that I have restraining exactly how I could lay out these pages, but I ultimately like how it turns out for this temporary setup. Do let me know down below what you think, if you can think of ways that I can improve this temporary setup, or if you just see something that I'm blatantly missing. I'd love to hear it, because like I said, this entire collection will be going back into the A5 eventually. I just needed a temporary home for the summer, and so here it is. I do hope that you enjoyed. If you did, you can leave a comment. You can like this video or subscribe if you want to see more content from me. I should have a binder update coming relatively soon. I hope we are all enjoying People Part 2 and getting ready for D-Day and everything else crazy that's coming down the pipeline. Thank you again for watching, and I'll see you all soon. Bye.
Get the hell out.